Orality is a digital application for social research, and particularly it's for the practice of critical ethnographic research. So in this app, the user is welcomed by the welcome screen. They're able to either sign up or log in. So let's say our interpreter, Nate Heilman, is signing up for the first time. He receives an email, and then he logs in. Here we have a loading screen. And then we're brought to this overview, to this methodology overview, where the user can either skip or continue. If they've seen this before, they can skip it and go directly to the instruction screen, which we'll see here. So this user flips through the stages or steps in this methodological process to become familiar with it. Here we have life context alignment. Here we have self-reflexivity. If the user wants to go back, they can go back. Here we have discovery. Fourth, we have documentation. Fifth, we have contextualization. Visually, the imagery represents obviously what happens in those stages. Sixth, we have sharing. Seventh, we have organizing. And here is the how to use this tool screen. So here we have all the instructions about what you'll see on the next screen. You'll see this post button, which is similar to Instagram's setup, where you'll begin your guided research process. A heart selects a post to rank a user insight. So the heart takes you to the organization stage. Home takes you to the home screen. The next one takes you to your profile. The magnifying glass takes you to the search page. And the hamburger takes you to your settings, workspaces, and team chats. Okay, here we are on the home screen. You can see that Nate Heilman is our user here. These other people in this environment are also interpreters that are working on the same team. We'll see who Nate's working for in just a moment. Here's a post by Gina DeWolf. So this is her ethnographic narrative. Here's Nate's profile. Here's his wall. Here's the photos he's taken. If we want to edit his profile, we can also begin the research process from here. We can go to the hamburger here too as well to go into settings, workspace, a team chat, or a new post. We logged out, so we're just going to log back in so I can show you the process of skipping. So skipping that stage takes you again to the how to use this tool. We'll press OK. And now we will go begin the process. Search takes you to the search screen. You can search for a user in here. Okay, so let's go back home and let's begin the process. So here we see complete each step in the process. This is the process that we just described. Or that we just showed you via the introduction screens, the onboarding screens, so to speak. You'll see that the other steps are grayed out. There are certain steps of the methodology that you can't complete without completing other steps. So, life context alignment is the stage in which you select your workspace. So, here you have all your tech teams, your projects, the partners that you're working with, and Nate's going to pick Google, and they're working on a new assistant project. Here is the space where you can view and add team members, and here is where you chat about the project and your goals. Nate wants to add some comments here. He sends the comment. And he says he'll be investigating the artist community in Boston. Okay, now we move on to self-reflexivity. In the self-reflexivity stage, we can choose between the Patton model of ethnographic research and the Spradley model of ethnographic research, both qualitative approaches. Okay, so we choose the Patton model, and we go into the discovery stage. In the discovery stage, you follow the 4 steps below. Here, we're identifying a user or a community to observe, and then we're documenting that community. We're noticing a behavior and documenting that behavior. That's the discovery phase. We're gonna type in our answer here. So Nate's typing in his answer. He's observing artists in Boston. Now he's gonna take a photograph or a video. He chooses photograph of artists in Boston. Boom, he photographs some artist in Boston. We press OK, and then you get a confirmation screen with next steps. Okay, now we're noticing a behavior we're observing and documenting that. Okay, Nate noticed artists organizing together to put on and populate art shows to sell their art in studios. Okay. Now Nate is going to take a photo to document this. Boom. Nate takes a photo. Another confirmation screen with instructions. Okay, and also these instructions and all these things came from usability testing and user testing. This is kind of a third iteration of this product. Documentation phase. Okay, here we see documentation steps within the question model 1, which is the Patton model. In this model, there are 6 types of questions that you must go through to complete this model and move on to the next phase, which I believe is contextualization or sharing. We'll see. So here again, we have the steps below, which are basically saying that you identify a user to ask an interview question. You prepare your interview question, you document the user's response, and you move forward to the next set of questions. So here's the first question prompt here. It's a behavior experience question, which basically means you're noticing a behavior. Could you describe it? Tell me about it. Here's an example that once you click on, you come away with your own answer. You fill out your own answer as related. You have your prompt up here so you can fill it out. And now you're documenting, you're speaking this to someone else in your community, right? Another artist to document the response. So we're gonna take a video because we're giving an interview. So Nate's interviewing Gina. That's Gina DeWolf, another one of our interpreters. So Nate's interviewing Gina about this process. She gives an answer about her views on the behavior, her perspectives on the behavior. Then congrats, you saved the interview. Here's what you do next. Okay, so we move on to opinion or value questions. Same idea, same structure. Here's the prompt. The opinion or value question says, what's your opinion? Or what's the value of this behavior? In your opinion, why do you think this behavior exists? So we get an example. We put in our own, we fill in our own community and our own behavior given that example, given this kind of Mad Lib style, kind of fill in the blank style prompt. And we move on to document. We take a video. As we can see on this screen, video is indicated. There's Gina talking about her opinion. Okay. We move on to feeling questions. How do you feel about this? Here we go. Here's the, how do you personally feel about the need to do this behavior, behave like this? Here's another example answer. The prompt above. Okay, Nate types in his response, and he takes another video. Here's Gina describing this. Artists are so casual, sometimes they drink beer during interviews, of course. Again, confirmation screen. All right, knowledge questions. So this is about user community knowledge. Okay, so how does larger society influence these behaviors? What are the historical roots of this kind of behavior? Again, all from the patent model. We're in the patent model, as we can see above. We know where we are because of the iconography above. We know what we're doing because of the titles and subtitles. We know what kind of questions we're answering because of the titles and subtitles. You can go back when you're typing in case you need to, back out and see the example question again. So here Nate prepares his question, and now he's ready to ask the question and document the response. As we see in the titles, Nate's going to take a video. Okay, here's Gina again. Here's a confirmation screen. Now we're on to sensory questions, which are some of my favorite. Here we see an example. Do you see, hear, taste, smell, or touch in ways that are different at these times than other times? Which is a really unique question. It's a unique data set. So here's another example. Nate populates it. He's asking what people might hear if they do hear, see, smell, taste, or touch differently during art shows, which is a very interesting question. We're going to video document again. Gina's answering. Okay. One more, background demographic questions. Okay, here we go. Here's the example. It's about population. It's about ethnic makeup. It's about gender percentages, things like that. So Nate asks that question. Gina answers. And we're done with the patent model now. We can see that indicated by all the check marks are now filled out from open circles to closed circles. And now we move on to the contextualization stage. Okay, if we wanted to jump back, we can jump back to self-reflexivity. If we wanted to switch our workspaces, we could go to life context alignment. However, you can't do discovery and documentation without choosing your question model or without if you want to change your workspace, you have to go to self-reflexivity again afterward. So you also cannot go on to sharing and organizing without contextualizing. So that's why these are a lighter opacity. Okay, so here's what you do when you share. You select a narrative technique, you review the technique, and then you move on to the next step where you write your narrative. Okay, so there are 3 ethnographic narrative techniques: the realist tale, the confessional tale, and the impressionist tale. So you're really creating a post much like you would in Instagram, much like a caption that you would caption a photo with in Instagram, except you're following this rigorous ethnographic technique. So we're going to choose the realist tale. Okay, this shows you, what you can do. You've selected the realist tale, great. Okay, so when you go into sharing, the application knows that you've moved on to the realist tale. And now you're going to select the best photos, videos, or audio recordings from your research. You're going to contextualize what you learned by writing. You're going to follow the checklist to ensure you have all the important parts. And you're going to review and share it to your social feed for discussion, for ranking, for organizing, so that other interpreters can say, hey, that's actually really smart. I feel that way too. This is really important. Okay, so we select the photos that we want to help tell this story about artists gathering in spaces. We say okay. We fill out our ethnographic narrative. The keyboard pops up and Nate has written his narrative. We click to make sure that we have all these parts. We select OK, and we begin to share it. If we need to edit, we can edit, or we move on to the organizing screen. OK, So if we want to edit, we can edit here. Okay, great, we're editing. Great. So now we're moving on to the organizing screen. As you see, it's not just your normal home screen here. If you want to get out and go to your profile, take a break, you can do that. But you can drop yourself back into the organizing, but mostly we're just going to move on here. Okay, so now we're moving on to the organizing screen. Here we are on organizing. In this stage, you'll vote on your colleagues' research narratives to help rank and organize the data. First, you'll like a colleague's post, and then you'll be led to the organizing prompts. Next, you will rank the post using 4 criteria. Afterward, you return home to your social feed where you can create, you're basically done with the process, so you can do whatever you want at that point. So here's the instructions. You touch the heart button to select a post to rank. Then you touch the right arrow to move on to the ranking prompts. If you want to back out of the process and kind of go home, you can go to your profile. Okay. So first we like a post. You can do that here or up here. This is actually, I lied. This is to see your likes. This is to like a post. So we like Gina's post. We can back out if we want to like a different one, if we want to scroll. But we're going to like Gina's post because it's great. We're going to click next. And here are the criteria of organization and the ethnographic narrative to kind of rank the interpretation. So within this interpretation here, we are saying, okay, Gina had a great idea for a new innovation. Okay, maybe Gina proposed a technology that helps artists find and book new collaborators and to track artist packages, and so that everybody knows where they are, because shipping art's really expensive. And so Gina, or maybe we invent a new drone technology that helps artists send secure packages for cheaper. Who knows? Anything. That's up to the design innovators and the interpreters to work together to find that. I'm just the designers of these apps and the gatherer of the data. Okay, so now we like Gina's post. We move along and we rate these in terms of function. We say it's brilliant. This ranking mechanism is found in Roberto Verganti's Design-Driven Innovation book. Is a very successful criteria for ranking design innovations. We say it's illuminating. We say sensation-wise, it's exciting. And we say price-wise, I'll buy 2. We say, okay, congrats, you've ranked an insight. This concludes Orality's research process. You can revote. Once you touch OK, you'll go to the social feed /home screen. On the next screen, here's what the buttons do again. Okay, so this brings us back to the home screen where we can do whatever we want. We can go back through the organizing process to rank another post. We can go back to start over and select a new workspace. Here, if we want, we can start to work on our Apple projects or our Facebook projects, whatever we want to do. And we can go back again to go to the home screen. We can start a new research narrative. So maybe Nate wants to research another community, do more research within the community. Okay, great. Maybe he doesn't like the photos. And we can go back to his profile again to change anything that we need. So this is Orality, an ethnographic tool for social research, specifically for ethnographic research, so that Nate here, a sculptor and artist, can work with his design team, which we see here. If, let's say, he's working with Google, this is his design team that he's working with, and he's pitching them new insights and ideas for innovation. Nate specifically is proposing something that helps artists get together and collaborate on their to sell their artwork. Nate actually uses the Spradley model as well. And we'll see what he does here. He has another interpretation which is rather interesting. If we choose the Spradley model, we go through the discovery phase. Okay. We document this. He's actually documenting teachers this time at Massachusetts College of Art and Design, and he notices something different. He says, artists in Boston gather to teach at local universities. He takes a picture of that. That's a picture of Nate teaching. Okay, and when he begins to document, there's a whole separate set of questions that he answers, not this time about teachers. So his innovation this time could be about teachers gathering. He says, I notice artists in Boston gather to teach at local universities of art and design. Could you describe an average day in the university? Could you describe the university itself? Give me a tour. Okay, so then he takes a video of someone who is also a teacher. That's me. I taught with Nate at an art and design university about this topic, right? So this is how Orality works. He'd go through the same processes after he does the Spradley model. And this kind of concludes my view of the prototype. So Nate has come up with deep ethnographic research about what it means to be an artist in a teaching community in Boston, an artist, and helping teams come up with a digital application or a social technology to help teachers, and a social technology to help artists who are trying to sell their artwork.